Imagine you're standing at the top of a long, snow-covered hill. The air is freezing. Everything around you is quiet. You bend down, scoop up a handful of fresh snow, and pack it tightly into a tiny snowball. It's so small, it fits comfortably in one hand. You place it on the ground. Nothing happens. It just sits there. If someone walked past at that moment, they'd probably smile and think, "That's never going to become anything." But then you give it the slightest push. It rolls once, then twice. It picks up a few loose flakes, but honestly, it still looks disappointing. After a minute, it's barely any bigger than when you started. Most people would stop right there. They'd tell themselves the hill isn't steep enough, the snow isn't good enough, or maybe they just aren't meant to build a giant snowball. So they walk away. But the people who don't, they keep pushing. Little by little, the snowball grows. As it gets bigger, something fascinating begins to happen. Every rotation collects more snow than the last. Every inch it travels makes the next inch easier. Eventually, it reaches a point where it no longer feels like you're pushing it. It feels like it's pulling itself. By the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, that tiny handful of snow has become an enormous, unstoppable force. Now, here's what's fascinating. Building wealth works almost exactly the same way. The biggest fortunes rarely begin with million-dollar investments or winning the lottery. They begin with something so small that most people dismiss it before it ever has the chance to grow. That's why so many hardworking people never become wealthy. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they don't earn enough, but because they stop pushing long before their wealth snowball has the chance to become unstoppable. Today, we're going to uncover the wealth snowball most people never start, the psychological trap that causes millions to give up too early, and how one small decision today could completely change your financial future. If you're ready to think differently about money and build wealth that lasts, make sure you subscribe. Every week, we break down complex financial ideas into simple stories that can change the way you think about money. Now, let's give that snowball its very first push. So why do so many people abandon their wealth snowball before it ever becomes something meaningful? It's probably not the reason you think. Most people assume it's because they don't earn enough money. Others blame inflation, the economy, or bad luck. Those things certainly matter, but they're usually not the reason the snowball never gets rolling. The real reason is much closer to home. It's sitting right between your ears. Our brains were never designed to understand exponential growth. They're designed to survive. Thousands of years ago, your ancestors didn't need to think about retirement accounts or stock markets. They needed to find food, avoid danger, and solve today's problems, not problems 30 years into the future. That wiring still exists today. It's why spending $100 on something you can enjoy this weekend feels far more rewarding than investing that same $100 for a future version of yourself you'll never meet. Psychologists call this present bias, our tendency to value immediate rewards much more than future ones. It's one of the biggest invisible forces shaping our financial decisions. Think about it. If I offered you $100 today or $110 next month, many people would take the money today. Logically, waiting makes sense. Emotionally, it doesn't. And that's exactly why building wealth feels so difficult. Because wealth asks you to trade today's comfort for tomorrow's freedom. But here's what's fascinating. The beginning of investing is supposed to feel slow. Imagine planting an oak tree. You water it every week. After a month, it barely looks different. After a year, it still isn't impressive. You don't stand over it every morning shouting, "Grow faster." You trust the process. Money works the same way. The first few years aren't exciting because you're still planting roots. The snowball is still small. And that's the stage where almost everyone quits. Not because the strategy failed, but because it looked like nothing was happening. The data tells the same story. According to the latest report from the Federal Reserve, 63% of adults said they could cover an unexpected $400 expense using cash or its equivalent. That also means 37% could not. Even more telling, only 55% reported having enough emergency savings to cover 3 months of expenses. Think about what that means. Millions of hard-working people aren't one bad investment away from financial trouble. They're one broken washing machine, one unexpected medical bill, or one car repair away. When every dollar already has a job, it's incredibly difficult to think 20 years ahead. You're forced to think about tomorrow instead. And that's exactly why the wealth snowball never gets started. Not because people don't want financial freedom, but because life keeps demanding today's money before tomorrow has a chance to arrive. Here's the irony. The wealthiest investors aren't rewarded because they discovered a secret stock or timed the market perfectly. They're rewarded because they stayed invested long enough for time to do the heavy lifting. At first, you're building your portfolio. Then, one day, something remarkable happens. Your portfolio starts building itself. Every dollar earns another dollar. Those dollars earn even more dollars. Eventually, your investment returns begin contributing more than you do. That's the moment the snowball stops feeling like hard work and starts feeling like momentum. The hardest part of becoming wealthy isn't making money. It's surviving the long, quiet season when it looks like your money isn't making much at all. Because just when most people decide to quit, that's usually when the snowball is finally big enough to start rolling on its own. Let's do a little thought experiment. Imagine two co-workers, Maya and Jordan. They start the same job on the same day. They earn the same salary. They receive the same annual raises. They even sit a few desks apart. From the outside, their financial future looks identical. But there's one small difference. Every payday, Maya quietly invests $100 into a low-cost index fund. Jordan has good intentions too. He tells himself he'll start once life settles down, maybe after the next promotion, maybe after paying off the car, maybe next year. At first, it doesn't seem like Maya is getting ahead. Her investment account barely moves. Some months it even loses money. Meanwhile, Jordan is enjoying life. Weekend trips, the newest phone, dinner out whenever he feels like it. And honestly, it looks like Jordan made the smarter choice. Then, 5 years pass. Jordan finally decides it's time to get serious. He begins investing. In fact, he invests even more than Maya every month because he's trying to catch up. Surely he'll overtake her. Except, he never does. No matter how much faster Jordan runs, Maya always seems to stay one step ahead. Why? Because Maya wasn't just investing money, she was investing time. Those extra years gave her wealth snowball something money can never buy back, a longer hill. And in investing, the length of the hill matters far more than the size of the first snowball. This is one of the hardest lessons in personal finance. People think becoming wealthy is about finding the perfect investment. It isn't. History has consistently shown that staying invested over long periods has been one of the most powerful drivers of wealth creation. The earlier you begin, the more opportunities your returns have to generate even more returns. That's the real magic, not higher returns, longer compounding. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine planting two identical trees, one today, the other 10 years from now. You can water the second tree twice as much, buy better fertilizer, take perfect care of it, but it will always be 10 years younger. Time is something effort simply cannot replace. Money works exactly the same way. The biggest mistake people make isn't choosing the wrong investment, it's waiting for the perfect time to begin. Because perfect rarely arrives. Life will always give you another bill, another excuse, another reason to wait until next month. But every month you delay is another month your snowball isn't rolling. That's why the greatest cost isn't market crashes. It isn't inflation. It isn't even paying too much in fees. The greatest cost is lost time. Time is the one investment you can never earn back. So if you're wondering when the right time is to start, the answer isn't when you have more money. The answer is when you decide your future is worth more than today's excuses. You don't need thousands of dollars. You don't need to predict the next winning stock. You don't need to be a financial expert. You just need to make one decision. Start. Because years from now, you won't remember the coffee you skipped or the small amount you invested. You'll remember the day you stopped waiting, the day you gave your wealth snowball its very first push. And one day, when that snowball has grown into something you never thought possible, you'll realize something profound. Financial freedom wasn't created by one big decision. It was built by hundreds of small ones that nobody else noticed. If this video changed the way you think about money, subscribe. Every week we'll turn complex financial ideas into simple stories that help you build lasting wealth, one lesson at a time. Until next time, keep pushing your snowball and remember that every dollar counts.